It's Lisa from My Dreaming Soap. Welcome to my channel. Now today we're going to do a soap with sort of like a pirate type theme. I'm not having any pirates in it. It's going to be like the shore with some rum barrels and some treasure chests and a pirate ship in the background. So the first thing I need to do is make all my embeds. Now I've extruded a load of stuff just to save me doing it on the screen, but I will just go through the principle of putting some of these embeds together. So I've got various things, I've got quite a few embeds. One of the things I'm going to do is a treasure chest. And what I want for the treasure chest is I want to have it wooden, but with sort of like some metal frames on it. So let's just pull out my pieces that I've made. And I'll show you the principle of putting this embed together, especially if you've not seen my channel before. And then I will do the others off screen and we'll just have a look at them when they're in the soap. Okay, so I've got this part of my embed, this sort of square bit is going to be the base of the chest. And this rounded bit is going to be the top of the chest, but I want them covered in metal. So I've pulled out an extruded silver. Let me just go through colours. This is brushed copper from Mica Mama, and this is antique silver from Mica Mama. Now with all my embeds, I'm going to just lightly spray them or dust them. Sometimes I use a paintbrush. I've been finding just using a spray bottle with nice, fresh, clean, distilled water in it. Okay, remember these soaps have already gone through the saponification process, so it's important that that water is nice and clean. So let's just take the inside of my chest and I can now slop it in there. And what will happen is, initially, as you put your embed together, it might be a bit slidey and a bit slimy and a bit awkward. But what will happen then is that water will fix that embed together. I need to put the top of my chest. Here it is. Oh no, I don't. Do I? Yes, I do. Just thinking I don't need a top, but I do. I've extruded one. Okay, so here's my top bit. Okay, and all I've done is I've extruded these out with the iDreaming Soap large extruder, because you won't get big embeds like this extruded out with one of those small ones that you can buy on Amazon or from Makings or anything. Okay, so I'm just now carefully going through, and it's important when you do this that you make sure your soap dough is tightly pushed together, because anytime you've got little gaps, you're going to end up with a hole or a bubble in your soap. Okay, so really all I've done there is just covered the brown colour with some silver. Okay, so the outside of the chest. Now it'll look a bit funny at the end, but it'll look better when it's cut. I'm going to pop that aside. So whilst it's wet especially, because mine's a little bit damp, I'm just going to put it aside, and this is just some baking paper, so something that's got that wax surface on it so it won't stick. And then I'm just going to repeat the process with the top. So I've got the silver to go around my top. And just wet that inside. And I'm just going to pop my top inside and then squeeze it all together. Now, if you're making embeds in advance, it varies with me. It depends what my schedule is. What I'm going to do today is I'm making these now, and as soon as I'm making them, I'm going to make my soap up and they're going straight in. I do like that because then I've literally just extruded all this soap dough and it's going to go into the soap really quickly, so it has a much better chance of bonding with the soap. If I'm making embeds, let's say the day before they're going into a soap, I will then cover these just to make sure they don't get exposed to too much air. The advantage of making them a little bit earlier is they do get a little bit stiffer. So as I put these in the soap, they will be a little bit floppy, which may be a little bit trickier to actually control because they bend a bit. But basically I just want to get this soap done in one day. Should we just pop some barrels together? So again with these, I've got a brown colour. This is chestnut brown for the wood, and then a silver colour for the actual barrel. Sorry, the silver colour is for the metal in the barrel. Right. Okay, so exactly the same principle. I'm going to start from the bottom. So I'm just going to make sure I've got my small bit of wood. And then a bit of silver. Now these are slightly sloped because a barrel would be slightly shaped. So I'm just making sure I pop these up the right way. And with them being wet, you can move them around a little bit. Okay, it's just a little bit slidey at the moment, but can you see that's the general idea of my barrel? Need to pop that down and let that firm up. Okay, so we'll have to leave that for a little while, just an hour or so, just to give that a chance to settle together and stick more. Okay, so those are the main bits of building that I need to do. I do have some other embeds in the soap, but I'm actually going to build them as they go into the soap because they're not as sort of complex as those ones. Let's start making up our first layer. So for this first layer, it's going to be the bit of the shore that you can see. So it's going to be sand, but in the sand, I need to add my treasure chest to my barrels, but also I want to do some gold that's come out, you know, sitting around and sort of spilt out of the treasure chest. I'm going to colour all of my oils first of all using golden shimmer. Okay, so initially just mixing that colourant into the oils. Okay, and then let's add our lye solution and sodium lactate. Okay, I think that's going to be fine. Do is pour off a little bit of this to actually give me my what's going to be the gold, and to that I'm going to add a little bit of sunshine yellow. Okay, so obviously I want my gold to stand out against my sand, so therefore I would normally pre-disperse it in oil, but I've already used the oil to make up all that soap, but that's okay. I can just pre-disperse it in a little bit of soap. So there's some of that mixed now with sunshine yellow to make it more yellowy gold. And then the rest of it, I just want to lighten the sand colour a little. So I'm going to add some titanium dioxide. Okay, so I'm hoping I'm going to get enough difference in these that we will be able to see the gold compared to the sand, because they're both obviously quite similar colours. Yeah, it does look quite different. The fragrance I'm using in this soap is Kulu Bay from Nature's Garden. So let's get that poured in. Okay, I'm going to just give this a little blend because it's quite thin still, and I can cope with it being a bit thicker. Okay, that'll do just a tiny bit. The first thing I'm going to do is pour this sandy colour, a lot of it, right in at the bottom. Okay, so there's my sandy area in. That's right, so now what I need to do is I need to get my little barrels in. And the idea with these barrels is I'm having one laying down in front of the other. So that's how I've designed them to go together. So they should just fit together nicely. And then let's fit these into the mould. I want to add some gold to the top of my, what's this, treasure chest. That's it. So here's that soap that I made and just heated through a bit. So it's quite nice and thick. I took it out of the squeeze bottle because it was a bit thick for the squeeze bottle. And then I've extruded just some little round bits of soap. So these are going to hopefully look a bit like some gems. So I'm just going to get those pushed into that gold. Okay, it looks a bit messy, but that's okay because what I want to do, I just want to make sure there's plenty this side. Because then I need to get the lid of my chest and pop it on the top. And I want the lid to join this back side, and so therefore I'm going to squash it down there and then clean it off, because you wouldn't have gold sort of oozing out of the back. A bit wobbly, and then turn it round, and I'm just going to tidy some of this excess off the front. Okay, I'm going to try and lift this into here and gently pop it on the soap. Okay, now this is all stiffened up a little bit more than I would have liked, so I'm just going to spend a little bit of time trying to get some more gold bits down here. I've got this yellow gold, and I've still got some of my sandy colour next. It's really, look, really thick. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is going to try and get some more of these gold bits down in front of my treasure chest. I think that's going to do for gems. And obviously it does make it more difficult working with it this thick. I didn't intend to let it get this thick. I just obviously got a bit carried away warming it up. But I'm going to just see if I can just get it in there. And hopefully you don't end up with too many holes and things in the final soap. So there's that in. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time now sorting this out. So I'm probably not going to keep the video on all the time. I'm just going to get this and just spend a bit of time massaging it in here, just to make sure I've got those holes covered as much as I can. Okay, I've spent quite a bit of time, can you see, smoothing that all out? And it did take me probably about 20 minutes to go through, smooth it all out. I almost got to the point where I thought, well, I'll just mix up some more soap that will you know, flow in nicely. But I've had a go and popped it all in, and hopefully it will be fine. I do have a little bit of the sandy colour left over, so if I do cut it and there's some big old holes, I have that colour that I can put into those holes. So the next thing I'm going to do is do the C area. So what I've got here is some soap. Well, no, this is just my oils, sorry. Here are my oils with Caribou Blue from Mica Mama. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to obviously turn it into soap. So let's add my lye and my sodium lactate. I'm hoping to keep this certainly initially quite fluid, because I do want to make sure this level flows on top of the last one to minimise any lumps and bumps and holes. Right, and then what I'm going to do is an in the pot swirl. So I'm going to split this about 300 in half. And I'd put some titanium in the bottom of this, sorry, titanium dioxide in the bottom of this jug. So I'm going to have this C. Here are all my birds outside. Obviously they're not my birds. They're on our tree that we have filled with bird feeders, and they like to come for dinner. Right, let's get the fragrance in. So I'm just going to do this as an in the pot swirl. It's a very light trace, and that's fine. I don't mind if this sort of almost muddies together a little bit. Okay, I'm going to probably give it more on the stir than you would normally for an in the pot swirl. So I'm not actually trying to get a swirl design. I'm just trying to get two different colours in my C area. Okay. Okay, now one of the things I did do, and I'm not sure how well I'm going to get this in without it coming apart, is I made a little flag. So I've got the flag pole here. I'm going to pop that on. And then I've got a flag I'm hoping it's going to sit on there quite nicely. Okay, right, let's get the rest of this C in. And the next thing I'm going to do is just bring in the base of my boat, my little pirate ship, and just plop that on here. Here we are with our pirate soap, our pirate shore soap the next day. Okay. I think it's all right. Let's have a look. Oh yes. Yay, it's come out so all right. And hey, look at that, not too bad. My flag's a little bit weird, but it kind of looks a bit like a Jolly Roger. I just did the cross in it rather than the skull and crossbones, because that would have been too much into a little soap area like that. So that's come out all right. My little palm trees in the top on my boat, and I'm pleased that that sail came up right. Has done okay. And my little treasure chest that's quite cute with all the gold in it. The sea looks a little bit weird. I'm actually really surprised how well that sand's gone in without any holes. I did spend a long time squashing it down, but obviously this, I think just this little join here does look a little bit odd. It should have been a little bit flatter really, I think, before that sea came in. But other than that, I think I've kind of got away with that one, and I do like it. It is quite cute. It is a little bit wonky, but that's okay. Oh look, there's a couple of little holes. Okay, so there's the first ones that have had some little tiny holes in. But overall, I'm actually really pleased with those. As I said, a couple of little holes to fill in. I'm actually really pleased with how that's come out.
And I'll just leave you with a final photo of the soap. If you'd like to buy a bar of this soap, it is now for sale in the iDreamin soap shop. I hope you've enjoyed this video and you like the soap. If you have, it would be great if you gave me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see what I'm making in the future, why not subscribe to my channel? Thanks for watching everyone. Happy soaping!